Your tears are God shall wipe them off. Well, Daily Guide starts us off this morning. It says, Ejira Mayhem, report ready, sack MC, punish soldier. And yesterday on social media, people asking, what about the regional minister who confessed to the committee that he was the one who ordered for the soldiers to go on the ground? ECOWAS Speaker Lord's Government for ICT Development, and UG gets first female vice chancellor. Hooray, under 50. And she's already leading Ghana's premier university. Nana attends Education Summit in the UK. What's on the front page of the Finder newspaper? Well, the Finder reports that digital currency is the way to go in boosting economic growth. Dr. Baumia says so. Bossed to pay 9.9 million plus 30% of the annual interest since 2011 to Husk Oil judgment debt. Newmont to invest $850 million into approved Ahafo North project. And the banner headline says 110 billion Ghana cedis SOEs post. Ghana 586.4 million Ghana cedis losses in 2019. 10% return on the assets can generate some 11 billion Ghana cedis. Can create more than 700,000 public and civil service jobs. NPP Code of Conduct spells out severe sanctions, including expulsion. Speaking of which, the NDC has also expelled Koku Anyidoho, former presidential aide and deputy general secretary. The BNFT, ADB maintains post-GATT turnaround with profit up to 80% in H1. Jonathan Simon, your team, Salam Amevo, good morning to you. Be firm on informal sector revenue collection, according to a tax analyst. And employers urge to resume shift system to curb rising cases. Some never did at all in the first instance. GCX helps farmers win war against middlemen. And Unique Insurance exceeds the 50 million target and the capital requirements there. What's on the front page of the Daily Graphic? It says Majority Leader urges bipartisan review of the Petroleum Act. Aftermath of rains, sordid state of some roads in Accra. And the banner headline, I'm yet to receive docket on Swale. Ahmed Swale, the investigative journalist with Tiger API, who was gruesomely murdered out there, someplace Medina. AG has told Parliament that he's yet to receive the docket on Swale. So those are front pages for this morning. We'll get into all the fine details shortly. And while we're at it, I would quickly want to also wish a few persons who have their birthdays today. And a special one to Louis Nana Asiedu. Louis Nana Asiedu is the head of media relations and public education at the Judicial Service of Ghana. My brother, happy birthday to you, Nana Asiedu. And on Saturday, we'll have a big party. The Chief Justice will be in attendance as well. And it's a seminar, not a party, I beg your pardon. It's a seminar with the Chief Justice in attendance as well. Respectfully, also a happy birthday to Desmond Ni Akwe Brown of Friday Sport in Osu. This is your birthday today. Happy birthday. And also to Mrs. Sharon Kingfo of the Public Affairs Department of the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. It's from Obeda Pierre, a colleague. Happy birthday to you. If it's your birthday as well, happy birthday to you. I've been joined in studio by Honorable Collins Adumako Mensah. He is the MP for Fijia Kwabre North constituency in the Ashanti region. Also, Edem Agbana is the Deputy National Youth Organizer of the NDC. Gentlemen, welcome. Good morning. How are you doing?
Morning.
Great. Morning. I haven't seen you. You came briefly and you vanished again.
That's true. That's true.
Where did you go to hide?
Oh, I've been around. As part of the team, we are deployed to various stations. And so today I happen to be here.
Great. Adam, how are you doing?
I'm great, Johnny.
Great. Let me say thank you to Grand Park Clothing in Dansoman for my outfit as well. Find them on social media. They're on Instagram and Facebook, and they can do something special for you. What I'm wearing now, I'm told it's called Fellow Ghanaians. You can see the president's iconic spectacles in it. Fellow Ghanaians. So GTP's own creation, that's what they call it. They have another one called Lockdown, by the way. Really? So Koku Anyido has been sacked from your party. Why are you sacking your party people?
Johnny, good morning to our
first Alote Jacobs and then now Kokwanido.
Yes, good morning to all our viewers, and a special good morning to the former President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, to my National Chairman, Dr. Samuel Fuso Ampofo, the General Secretary, Honorable Johnson Asedun Ketia, all members of FEC, and every member of my party, and all Ghanaian youth this morning. I unusually, have decided to greet the leadership of my party because the decision taken yesterday at FEC is a welcoming one, great decision, bold decision, and I just want to commend the leadership of the party. Johnny, there is no organization that runs without ethics or code of conduct.
Right.
And so when you have some rules guiding how members of that organization must behave, it is important that when people are seen blatantly breaching these rules, they must be sanctioned to serve as a deterrent to others. We are here today, sadly. I am saying sadly because when I was growing up and I decided to join the NDC, one of the few voices that we admired at the time for their courage and everything was Mr. Samuel Kokwanido.
Right.
We all saw what he did when he was working with President Mills and all of that. All of a sudden, after he lost his elections as General Secretary, he turned his guns against the party, engaged in several anti-party activities. And so the grassroots, members of the party, we have been worried for so long. But we are a party that runs with meticulous processes. So we decided to submit him to the process. And the disciplinary committee of the party found him guilty of the petitions that have been brought against him. And that is why today the party has decided to sanction him.
You say his case is what? Misconduct and anti-party behavior brought against him under Article 48(1) and 9A of the NDC's Constitution.
Yes.
What do you mean when you say anti-party behavior?
Johnny, the petition that was brought against him, in fact, we received several petitions, but the disciplinary committee acted on one. The petition was attached to this letter. When we say anti-party activity or conduct, what we are simply saying is that he acted in bad faith against the group's interest, the collective interest of the party, by utterances and all the things that he has done. And you see, Johnny, I personally, Edem Agbana, this morning, I am very happy about Kokwanido's suspension because in 2018, when President Akufo...
It's actually expulsion.
He has been sacked from the party, and I'm happy. I'm happy because...
Why are you happy?
I am happy because in 2018, when Mr. Kokwanido was invited by the CID to the CID headquarters for comments that he made, some of us, young ones, I personally mobilized young people to go show him solidarity while showing Mr. Kokwanido support at the police headquarters. The police brutalized us. They fired warning shots. They actually shot people, rubber bullets. There's a lady called Inshira, who is one of our women organizers, constituency women organizers in the central region, in Shiraba, that she was a victim. She was hospitalized for many days. So imagine these people had died because they came to show solidarity to Mr. Kokwanido. Right after he came out from the police, instead of appreciating even the solidarity and the loyalty and the fact that as a party we decided to stand by him, despite all the brutality that we suffered in the hands of the police, Mr. Kokwanido came out and the first comment he made was that he was appreciating the police for the professionalism. Shooting in Shira and the rest of the group, is that the professionalism?
He was inside. He could have seen what was happening outside.
Please, he was aware. Because he was aware. All these were made known to him. My point is that we are a party that must strive on discipline. Nobody, no single individual is above the laws of the NDC. This is a welcoming news. And I want to say that at the constituency level, at the regional, at national, if anybody, any individual is found breaching the constitution of the NDC, we must deal with them. People say, in conclusion, people say politics is about numbers.
Right.
But I say that it is better to go into a football match with 10 players against 11 from the other side than to go with 11 with one scoring own goal.
Okay. These days, own goals have become popular for spoiling bet reasons. But I remember that day you spoke about, because I just interviewed General Sedun Ketia here on that morning. I think it was a Wednesday or Tuesday. Yes. I can't remember exactly. But I just finished an interview when he told me he had to go to the CID headquarters. So there is some more Koku Anyidohu on Twitter. He says, when Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery, they did not know that they were selling him into his God-given destiny to become a prime minister in Egypt. What evil men mean for wickedness, God turns it around for good. I am a son of God. Collins, this is Koku's message on social media. What do you say? Is he headed for the MPP? Under this tweet, people say he should go to the MPP.
Yeah, he can go and be flag bearer.
Well, good morning to yourself and
morning,
to my brother.
Adam, don't be naughty.
I understand Adam's frustration. You see, I remember when our party took similar decisions against leading members of the MPP. Adam and his colleagues at the time said that because those people were seen not to be in support of then candidate Akufo-Addo. That was why they were being sacked from the party.
Like Sammy Crab.
And that Akufo-Addo is an intolerant person. He's a tyrant. He's somebody who cannot accept divergent views. Today, here we are. All the people being sacked are people we all know share different opinions about His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Is he a tyrant? Is he an intolerant person? Can't he, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, using the same measure as the NDC used a few years ago, can't he accept divergent views? And you see, there's a deliberate attempt.
Which is?
To tarnish the image of the late President Mills.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Demonstrate it.
I'm saying all those people who have been sacked, check their relation with His Excellency.
That's not true.
At Mills. You check their relation.
That's not true.
Oh, I'm just using.
Go ahead.
I'm using the same measure.
Okay.
You said that because the people we took out from our party belong to a certain camp, then His Excellency John Adekun Kufuor. You heard it. You are a journalist. You are in this country. So many invectives were used against Akufo-Addo, His Excellency now, that he cannot accept divergent views. He's intolerant. He wants to sack people for no reason. At the time, the people we sacked went through the same disciplinary processes as my brother is talking about.
But they were serving.
Please.
But they were serving, were they not?
These people who have been sacked from the party, these are regional executive, regional chairman.
Was Alote still regional chairman?
I'm coming. Alote, whether he was or is, he was a regional chairman.
So because you're doing the comparison, Collins, hold on.
No.
Because you're doing the comparison, I want us to do a balanced comparison.
For me, it doesn't matter whether they are still current executive or not. They are leading members of the party.
Okay. So it doesn't matter.
Oh, please. Koku Anyidoho was a deputy general secretary.
That's right.
Yes.
Alote Jacobs was a former central regional.
I am saying he was a deputy general secretary.
But then if you are doing the equation, then Paul Afoko was a sitting chairman. Sami Crab was a sitting vice chairman.
It's not about whether they were
Kwabena Japan was a sitting general secretary.
What is important is that they went through a certain process as stipulated by our constitution.
Okay, but let's also be fair to the fact
that our friends from the NDC,
they didn't focus on that.
They did not allow us.
Okay.
They did not. They forgot that we went through a certain process.
So you are happy?
I'm not happy at all.
Okay. Why?
I'm not happy. Uncle Koku has served your party. Why are you doing this to him?
You can accept me.
Oh, today he said that they are what anti-NDC agenda.
Anti-party.
Anti-party. When you speak against JDM, His Excellency, you are anti-party. Because we know what Koku has been saying, and the fact that he feels that JDM is being imposed on the party. He's been saying it. His tweets and everything.
But why is he not contesting?
Oh.
That's right.
why is Koku not contesting or sponsoring a candidate?
He should have contested.
Adam, allow me, please.
I am saying that today Adam is telling us that they went through a process.
Yes.
There was a petition. The same way our people also, there was a petition.
Okay.
They went through a process. But even with that process, Adam and his people said no. It's because those people were against Akufo-Addo.
Okay,
I'm saying.
Let's listen to Johnson Asiedu Nketia. He is the party's general secretary. What has he to say about this? Koku served with him. He was his deputy at some point, contested him and lost. Take a listen.
Kwaku Anyidoho can no longer hold himself as a member of the NDC. In a letter signed by General Secretary Johnson Asiedu Nketia to communicate the decision of the FEC to him, the former presidential spokesperson was found guilty of the allegations of misconduct and anti-party behavior. In January, FEC decided to act on two separate petitions brought before it by Oti Region's Communications Officer Mubarak Abdul Karim and Bono Region's Deputy Communications Officer Eric Ejay. The petitions were referred to the Disciplinary Committee for further action, for which Mr. Anyidoho was suspended. The Functional Executive Committee, FEC, acting in compliance of Article 48(1) of the NDC Constitution, unanimously adopted the report. NDC General Secretary Johnson Asiedu Nketia explained the decision to TV3.
It borders on anti-party conduct relative to publications in all the media, electronic, print, and traditional media. Statements that are calculated to bring the image of NDC into repute. And so, when you engage in any such conduct, because NDC of laws, we don't rush to take any rash decision. We give you the opportunity to be heard. They used ordinary letter, refused to accept it. It was sent by courier, which had been received. And he actually indicated that he would not accept the letter on two occasions.
Kwaku Anyidoho is expected to return any party property in his custody and shall forfeit any monies, dues or subscription fees he might have made to the party.
That's the man they call the bull. Collins, are you willing to accept Kwaku into the MPP?
Oh,
if he comes knocking?
We are a very welcoming party.
Is it not there already?
we as an MPP, we are a very welcoming party. We accept all manner of people. We accept divergent views.
Okay.
So if they don't want him, Kwaku is at liberty to join us. He'll be welcomed. Why not? Politics is about numbers, and if he so wishes to join us, we'll welcome him.
Adam, your former Deputy General Secretary may join the MPP. He said if he knocks on the door, they'll open him. Would you rescind your decision?
For a very long time now, like I said, I think that I thought he was already even with them. And like I told you, it is always better to have a group of committed, dedicated, and loyal people to the cause of the party than to have one that is always pissing in. I am happy Kwaku is leaving us. We wish him well wherever he wants to go. If he wants to go to Egypt and be prime minister, like he said in his tweet, we wish him well. If he wants to go to MPP and be flag bearer, we wish him well. Whatever he wants to do, wish him well. But for us, we are moving on as a party towards Victory 2024 without characters who are always derailing our efforts.
Okay, I hear you. Your thoughts and comments on this particular matter on TV3NEWDAY. We're happy to share them with the rest of the wonderful world. Please send your messages in there. The front page of the Daily Graphic says, I'm yet to receive docket on Swale. AG tells Parliament. The Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service has still not built and presented any docket on the case involving the murder of Ahmed Hussein Swale to the Office of the Attorney General for prosecution. Although the CID has been investigating the case since Swale was murdered in January 6, 2019, it is yet to present any docket on the case to the Attorney General. The Attorney General, Godfred Dame, told Parliament, disclosed this in response to a question posed by the Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, in Parliament. Mr. Ablakwa sought to find out the status of the pursuit of justice in some unresolved murder cases in the country. The cases including those of Ahmed Swale, Mr. J.B. Dankwedu, their former colleague, and Mr. Eko Hayford, also a former colleague, a member of parliament, and Professor Emmanuel Bene. Let me start this with you, Colin. So the phenomenon of cold cases or unresolved murders, one would have thought that with all the interest that the public had in the aftermath of the murder of Ahmed Swale, J.B. Dankwedu, Professor Bene, you can talk about the Ghana Water Company lady, you can talk about the GPHA lady, you can talk about Reverend Yagbemedo, so many of them. One would have thought that something would have been done at this point. Now we're reading from the Attorney General that even the docket is not ready, 2 years on. How does this come to you?
Johnny, my view on this is very personal. It has nothing to do with my party or anything.
Okay.
Yesterday I was in Parliament when the Minister AG came to, and I must be very frank with you. I'm not happy.
You are not happy?
I'm not. I mean, after 2 years, if the police are telling us that if they are unable to put together a docket for the AG to proceed with prosecution, I'm disappointed. I'm not happy with the police at all. I think issues like this put the government in a bad light. I mean, this case is a very, very high-profile case. Everybody has been talking about it. So I was hoping that at least by now, after 2 years, something should have come up. The AG should rather be reporting to us the stage at which they are in terms of prosecution. What this means is that the AG has not even begun going to court or anything, because they are yet to receive investigative docket and all that. And I must be very, very frank with you. This is a personal opinion. I'm not happy. I'm disappointed.
Well, so beyond your disappointment, what's there? I mean, he appeared in Parliament. Questions were asked of him. He responded. What's the next move from Parliament, if you know?
The point is that, Parliament is House of Records. So the AG, when it comes to Parliament, must speak the truth. And the truth of the matter, he couldn't have come and say, oh, I've received it. And no, the truth is that he has not received anything. And so he was very truthful at it. But I think we have to appeal to the police. The next step is to encourage the police and appeal to them. That, it takes too long a time for issues of this nature to come up. And people begin to complain. Whenever there's an issue that happens to a police officer, the way they are quick to unravel the mystery surrounding issues that relate to them, I think they should attach the same urgency to issues of this nature. I must be very frank with you. I'll plead with the hierarchy. There's a new IG who will be taking over from next week. I hope that he takes this up and as quickly as possible gets out some information.
Given the fact that the president, for example, doesn't miss the opportunity, since this happened, the president has addressed 2 World Press Freedom Day events, and he has reiterated this. Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah also has mentioned it so many times. Is it a case that they were not aware of this challenge of delay, or they were just telling us something to make us wipe away our tears?
If you could refresh my mind on what the president said in relation to this.
Well, he said he would urge the police to go ahead and speed up the process.
Exactly
and find
what I'm
the
saying.
murders.
Exactly what I'm saying.
But for 2 years, if we are encouraging them and there's no results,
that is my disappointment with the police. The president obviously cannot join the police in the investigation. That's their job. They are professionals. It's our hope that they quickly unravel all this mystery, because, Johnny, it puts the government in the bad light. It creates the impression that government is trying to conceal information, or government is not interested in the case and all that. It doesn't sound right. I think the police must be encouraged to, as quickly as possible. And this, for me, should be a topmost priority for the new IG. He should quickly look at it and ensure that we get to the bottom of this issue. 2 years is too far.
It's too far. Well, Adam, can we cut the police some slack, for example, and say investigations take time, and so they are still trying to find who the culprits are? Or would you want to side with Collins when he says that is Achedodo?
Yes, I agree with Honorable Collins that this issue is really troubling because, Johnny, I want to cast my mind back to the very numerous high-profile murder cases, trying to identify if there is a single one of them that the police, the Ghana Police Service, brought finality to. And I'm struggling to find just one case. Almost all the high-profile murder cases that we have had, and these are issues that transcend successive administrations, and we must speak to that fact. I think that the police service owe it as a duty to the good people of Ghana. Some explanations. How efficient is the CID unit of the Ghana Police Service? Because people are being paid. Day in, day out, we appoint directors for those places. And if they cannot unravel murder cases and bring finality to it, what this does is that it serves as a motivation to any young person who will be lured into such act, especially when it is contract killing. Because if you are a young person, okay, hungry, and somebody approaches you that I want to use you for contract killing, or to go murder somebody, and you have a plethora of cases, how colleagues, others who were engaged in those acts were arrested, I'm not sure you would avail yourself for such an activity. But we live in a country where the issue happens, we talk about it, the media will discuss. After a few weeks, few days, it is over. It is left for we, the politicians, to keep making references to it and all of that. Johnny, it is a dangerous trend.
Is it?
It is sad that the AG says till today. How many years now? When was Ahmed Saleh murdered?
January 2019.
19. It is 2 years, and not even a docket on the matter. The police owe us some explanations, and we must also pursue some radical reforms within the CID or the investigating department of the police, because it does appear as though they are not effective. Nothing good really comes out. And that, what even makes it more troubling is that we have a police service that sometimes we have seen them unravel very complex cases involving, cases that are not too political, or cases that are not considered as very high profile, but very complex cases. They unravel.
In fact, in recent time, the gentleman who was murdered gruesomely at Adedenko, the police officer, suspects have been picked
exactly,
up.
And see how they went about it. They arrested one person, they released him, pretended that they had released him. He didn't know they were monitoring, followed him all the way to a Galamsey site to go and arrest him with his colleagues. So it means that they have what it takes to unravel these murders. I do not want to believe that there is a deliberate agenda to do cover up for some of these high profile cases because of the political tone or nature of these things. It is not good for us at all. Very disappointing.
Well, so Ghana Police COP Dr. George Akufu Dampare, welcome, sir. You are yet to sit on the chair, but already, as you know, the expectations are high of you. Too many expectations of you. They're looking at police reforms. They're looking at you building bridges. They're looking at you retooling the police. We're talking about body counts. They're talking about bulletproof vests. We're talking about unsolved murders, a cold case file. I remember that the outgoing IGP had told us that we're going to reactivate the cold case files. Recently, in the heat of all the giraffing, the CID boss had come to tell us that we're going to reactivate the cold case file, 27 or so of them. So what's happening? 2 years on and nothing has happened. That's not fair. That's not fair. And it doesn't create that, like Colin says, that, confidence, for people to have, in the government. And when we talk about these things because we want to encourage you to do the work. We don't want you to just go to work and come back home while the work remains undone. We know you are capable. We know you are capable. So please deliver on the job. Now, the July report is ready. But here is the Interior Minister, lawyer Ambrose Derry. He has a few words for critics or skeptics who think that nothing will happen in the aftermath of the committee sitting, the Kumsing committee sitting. Take a listen to him. We'll come to have a conversation on that.
After listening to 22 witnesses and reviewed volumes of documents, audios and videos, we have come with our findings and preferred some recommendations. These we present to you today in the hope that the government, through your good self, will give a good ear to them and try to accept and implement them.
Well, that's the noble justice there, but I want us to listen to the Interior Minister, Ambrose Derry, who had spoken yesterday exclusively to Sarah Pakwa, my colleague there. We'll try and find out. But, colleagues, the report is ready now. Any hopes?
That's an interesting question. I've not seen the report.
Right.
I think it came
just yesterday.
Just yesterday.
So the minister says he will study it.
Yes, yeah. I have not seen the report, but I'm sure some media houses have picked some of the recommendations that came with it, recommending that the MC should be sacked,
right, and
then punish the soldier
right,
who led the group. Others have complained that the regional minister who ordered the soldiers should also be punished. Because I've not seen the report, I might not know the entire recommendations. But let me say kudos to the team, very swift. They were given a specific mandate. They requested for an extension.
5 days.
We all watched the proceedings. Some of the witnesses were quite interesting. Others felt that the whole thing was unnecessary. But I believe that it was an opportunity for everybody to have a view and listen to what really transpired. My hope is that the report is not going to be put on some shelves. And I'm happy the minister is assuring us that he's going to take action on the recommendations. Because sometimes you have to send a signal. And as my brother alluded to when we were discussing the other issue, you have to send a signal to others who want to go the same line. You know, if people are punished for wrongdoing, people are seen to be being punished for being irresponsible, it sends a signal to others. And that even if you have any intention of doing the same, these are some of the repercussions. So I just hope that, as the minister has promised, he's going to quickly study the report. I'm sure he's going to brief his superiors also. The president is out of town, but I'm sure when he comes back to town, he will be briefed, and then the appropriate action should be taken. Okay,
take a listen to the Interior Minister now. I'm sure we can hear him now. Let's listen to Ambrose Derry.
What I accept, I would study the report and then submit same to the president in consonance with the directive that he gave. But I can assure you that we would take the report very, very seriously.
He dismissed earlier criticisms on the competence of the committee even before it commenced its work.
The problem is that anybody who had any lack of confidence in him didn't have a basis for that. I cannot do anything about idiosyncrasies and prejudices. I cannot do anything about that. And this is a country that's a free country, and people are entitled to their opinions. I'll respect them. But before a committee has worked, you already don't have confidence, it's premature.
That's the Honorable Interior Minister. He's also a lawyer, by the way. He says he has no time for idiosyncrasies and prejudices because even before the committee starts work, you are asking questions that, can we trust their work? He has no time for that. He wants to study the report and apply recommendations. What do you say to him?
John, it's no fault of ours that even before he decided to set up the committee, we had little or no confidence in the committee because we have a situation where in the last 4 years, we have seen numerous committees set up to deal with some of these issues. Some even went to the extent of making recommendations, but President Akufo-Addo, in a white paper, decided to rubbish those recommendations. And I'm talking about the Ayawaso West Wugon the committee that investigated happenings at Ayawaso West Wugon. And so we really do not have confidence in the ability of the committee to deal with the people who led this onslaught. But Johnny, I have seen portions of the report. And these portions of the report, for me, clearly vindicates to a large extent the positions taken by the media, civil society, by the NDC, and other dissenting Ghanaians.
That?
One, the MCE had no business remaining in office at the time these things were happening. Now we are told he has been sacked, or the committee has recommended for him to be sacked.
But he had mentioned earlier that he was not even interested in the position.
He was. It was just because, look, that I was in Ejura.
Okay.
I went to Ejura with the NDC.
Yes, I saw you.
And I can tell you that the place became, he was even scared to come to Ejura.
He moved his family to safety.
He said it himself. Yes, he moved his family out because the youth threatened him. So he knows politically it was practically impossible. Even if the committee had not recommended for him to be sacked, it was practically impossible for him to have been retained as MCE. So he decided to do the honorable thing by pretending as though he was not interested in the reappointment as MC. He knew that he was not going to get it. So let's not pretend as if he took any step. So he had no business remaining in office in the first place. Secondly, the Ashanti regional minister, I haven't seen the full report, but with what I have read, the excerpt that I have read, I'm told there is no recommendation for the Ashanti regional minister to be sacked or to be removed. You know why I want him sacked?
Why?
He is the chairman of the Regional Security Council.
Right.
Now, if you are the chairperson of RECSEC, and all you do in every little disturbance, this minister is so obsessed with sending military to go and control, bring civil orderliness. It is terrible.
How many instances can you count?
Recently, the St. Louis, I think there was an incident in one of the secondary schools. Right. Secondary school. And these are girls in secondary school agitating against their school administration. And the minister came out to admit that he sent the police and the military. There
was a joint military and police team there. That was what we're told, that they were patrolling and he redirected them there.
And they ended up, and he admitted that he sent them, a joint police and military. They ended up brutalizing the students. You saw the report. I watched portions of that report on your network. Now, Johnny, my point is that students, not even rowdy boys, girls, just protesting against their management, Honorable Osei Mensah decided to send military and police armed to go and do what? Bring order. This minister simply has no business remaining there. I will be surprised if the committee does not recommend his removal. But even if the committee does not recommend his removal, President Akufo-Addo, after swearing an oath to serve the good people of Ghana in truth and honesty, must ensure that ministers, his reps, ministers like the Ashanti regional minister, must not remain there.
But he doesn't take the decisions arbitrarily. I don't want to believe so.
You are the appointing authority, and you see,
because he is the boss, but he has acolytes that he consults.
It doesn't even have to be based on a committee's recommendation. There are several times that presidents do reshuffle.
Right.
No committee recommends for reshuffle to be done. They decide that we are recommending for. I decide to. I appoint you. I can fire you. They don't even give us any explanation.
But that's not President Akufo-Addo's style.
That's not President. So he waits for committee to recommend. So even when things
I'm not
are
saying
being
he waits
destroyed,
for committee. I'm saying that at least we have seen a first term of President Akufo-Addo.
Well, he may not believe in reshuffle.
We didn't see a lot of reshuffle.
But I'm saying that President Akufo-Addo has the mandate. He has the power to remove the Ashanti regional minister.
You don't want him there.
It is not about me not wanting him there. It's about the danger that his continuous stay in office portends. It is dangerous. A minister who believes that little chaos, even among secondary school students, I will send military, I will send police. Such a minister has no business remaining in office.
I hear you. Collins, so because Adam brought in the reps of the president, I'd want to touch on the matter that's hanging. I know a lot of people are anxious these days. A lot of lobbying is ongoing for DC, MCE positions. Yeah. They are representatives of the president. First of all, the president made a promise to the nation during the 2016 campaign that by 2018 we're going to elect our MMDCs. You remember that promise?
Absolutely.
Now, the president subsequently would ask for a bill to be prepared to be taken to Parliament. Then there was a conversation about whether to politicize it at the local level or not to politicize it. And I think the current call, the NDC kicked against it, some civil society organizations kicked against it, that we can't have politics in there at the local level, even though the idea was that there was already local level politics that's ongoing. You go to an area, you know that this assemblyman, he has love for the NDC, this one has love for the NPP. But the president again withdrew that bill, you know, of making us being able to vote for our MMDCs. He has not kept his promise. Why?
Johnny, when I started my political career, I was an assemblyman from 2010 to 2014 for the good people of Walmart North electoral area.
Okay.
And the truth is that although the constitution is quite clear on local assembly election not to be political, we all know that it's political.
Right.
And so the president, true to his word and his promise, initiated the process. But it was supposed to go through a referendum, if you remember.
That's right. It didn't happen.
And of course, but we needed the support of our colleagues from the other side to sail it through. I mean, if you don't have the support of the NDC, which has quite a sizable number of support on the base, to vote a certain line. I remember the president had invited all former heads of state, and I'm told that this was part of the discussion. If you remember, if you recall, there were issues about betrayal because the president, we are told at the time, had some gentleman's agreement with the top rank to whip their parties in line in order for us to see through with this particular promise. Unfortunately, along the line, there were some divergent views. And of course, the president knew that if he did not withdraw and went into the referendum, it was not going to be positive. So I don't think he did not. Of course, you could say that, yes, he made a promise, he could not fulfill it, but it was a promise that he was committed to, but unfortunately, he could not garner the support of all the other political
but Collins,
parties.
his promise, I remember vividly because I covered the campaign that brought President Akufo-Addo to power, including the very last one you had at the Trade Fair Center, where he danced and spoke as well. The promise was never about making it partisan. The promise was that I will give Ghanaians a chance to select your own MMDCs because I want them to be accountable to you. He identified the problem that MMDCs are not accountable to the people.
So how was that going to be? If the president was going to say, okay, let's vote for, virtually say, let's vote for our DCs.
Right.
How was that going to happen? Of course, the
must it necessarily be political?
But the political parties, you know, will definitely be nominating people to contest. You know that was going to happen. That was going to happen. I'm sure them would have selected somebody from his rank to go and contest from his area.
But he will not be wearing party colors.
Oh, well, it's not about I was an assemblyman. Right. I tell you, when we go for general meetings, even our sitting arrangements depict where we stand.
Right.
And even in certain electoral areas, if you don't support a political party, a certain political party, you might not even be able to win. And that is practical. And we all know this.
But see, Collins, the problem that the president identified was that there was always that pressure that comes on people like you, an MP, where even though you don't receive district assembly common fund, you don't receive property rate, business operation permits, road tolls, all of those ones. When the people need something, they don't go to the DC or MC, they come to you.
That's true.
So it would have been in your best interest if they had been elected. Now people are lobbying. And you see, this particular DC at Ejira, for example, he showed bad leadership, which is why people are asking for his head. Because when problem came, he withdrew himself and his family and left the people he was supposed to lead. Now, the conversation is that people are lobbying to be made DCs and MCs.
It's happening.
On hindsight, do you think that the president should have stuck with his promise of getting us to elect?
I don't think the president abandoned his promise. As
he
I
did.
said,
He withdrew the bill.
Because we could not gather the support as has been envisaged from our colleagues.
But his promise was not to make it partisan. His promise says, I will let you vote for it.
But I think that it's not too late. If the president is so mindful, we can still kickstart the process. I believe in that. I feel that when they are elected, they become more responsible and more accountable to the people. Because, of course, then you know that you are there because the people voted you in.
Right.
If you display any kind of irresponsibility, the people are there to take you out. So I'm all for that particular assertion.
I hear you.
I think we can kickstart the process again.
Adam, so the president withdrew the bill, but then you know that automatically when you become a DC or MC, you become the boss of the District Security Council. Yeah. Whether you are qualified in anything security or not, you have so much power that sometimes they don't even know how to use and do anything with. What are your views about this election of MMDCs? Because lobbying is happening, bickering is going on, godfathers are at play, pushing their own in there. What do you say? You are young.
Before my brother come in, let me take the opportunity. I've been doing this to appeal to especially the youth within our party.
Okay.
As the president prepares to make the announcement, there can only be one DCA. Okay. There can only be one mayor of Accra. If you are not very careful, and then we take sides and we go running riots and all that because your choice has not been mentioned, it becomes problematic. So I will appeal to the youth to be very, very
and that's why we should be voting for them, Adam.
Johnny, I think that my party, the NDC, has a position on the election of MMDCs. We do not have anything against the election, but the method that President Akufo-Addo and his government employed at the time is what we disagreed with. We believe that, yes, it must not be partisan. We must not send this high level of petty partisanship and bickering to that level. But I definitely think that we need to have some amendments to the Constitution where too much power is given to political appointees because, like you said, I do not understand why a DCE or MC should be heading the Security Council when we know that most of the issues of insecurity, the chaos, all these fighting are usually engineered politically.
Right.
So we really need to have some amendments so that those powers be taken away from them. Then you not have MCs recklessly relying on the security to commit the kind of massacre that we saw at Ejira and all of that.
For example, if I am MC, you are the police commander or the army commander within the district, and I know nothing about security, but I am the one backing or the send men, do this, do that.
It certainly doesn't augur well for us.
And they are not accountable. Once the president finds them comfortable, or once the president is happy with them, or depending on what they go and tell the president is happy with them, keeps them there. But the people they are managing are not happy.
And what is even more worrying about the situation is when those political appointees attempt to define roles for these security operatives.
Right.
And so in some districts, you will find out that the MCE is recommending for the removal or the transfer of a police officer because he suspects that that person is not taking orders from him. But you are not the expert. You see, and these people are supposed to be giving daily or weekly or monthly security briefings to you, the political appointee. And so it becomes extremely difficult. Look, you go to the districts, people are committing various atrocities in the name of political parties. The moment you are arrested, you take into a police station, the DCE calls the commander. This guy is our guy. He belongs to Invisible Force, Delta Force. Get him out. And all of that.
Kandahar boys.
No, you cannot. Kandahar boys.
Azoka boys.
And all of that.
Azoka boys.
I haven't heard of Azoka boys yet.
Anyway, Cookie is in. Cookie, what's cooking on WhatsApp?
This is funny. Anyway, good morning, my hardworking TV3 staff. Some of us are frustrated by the actions of this government. We are not saying that they should pay us like the ministers, but something small to keep us going during these hard times. The prices of everything have increased more than 4%, yet workers are given 4%. The president and his ministers are not paying for anything, yet their salaries have been increased by more than 70%. Why so? That's the question he's asking this morning. Good morning, Johnny. No one is above the law. If you go wrong, you're supposed to be punished. Johnny, it's only Kennedy Ejapong, the MPP, who is bigger than the law in Ghana. He cannot be punished. Ben from Germany is saying that this morning. And this one says, good morning, TV3 and leaders of the NDC. I 100% support your decision sacking Mr. Koku, because most of his words were against the party after he lost the seats to Most General Mosquito. And they will say, what, anti-party, is it, Adam, what is it, anti-party behavior? Okay, anti-party conduct. Okay. Johnny, please ask the MPP man that didn't Polafoko serve their party, but yet he was expelled. He should concentrate on his party and give us a breathing space. Freshwa sent that one. Good morning, TV3. I always get disappointed at the kind of politics we do in this country. Why? Instead of our political leaders to find workable, pragmatic solutions to our unemployment situation in Ghana, we rather delight in the politics of equalization. NDC says this today, MPP says that tomorrow. In fact, the youth of this country, we are extremely worried about these two political parties. Only God can save and rescue this nation. Oh God, help us. From Agbotro Kofi Evans, Teshila Scala. Babamu from Tamale Central says, fantastic job by the Justice George Kumson Committee. I have no doubt in my mind that the government will implement the recommendations of same in full to bring justice and a lasting peace to Ojra. Last message here says, good morning, Johnny. We pray the recommendation of the ministerial committee will not be kept without any work on it, just as other things we've seen in this country. We are all watching. Aaron from Adenta News site sent in that.
Thank you, Cookie. Thank you very much. Well, so let's wrap up. Because the gentleman spoke about NDC says this, MPP says this. We're earlier talking about LPG prices and how it keeps shooting up, food prices as well. Take a look at this picture closely. There are people who had gathered at the Elwak Sports Stadium in Accra. They say they are looking for an entry into the military. Take a look at the picture. This is just a fraction, a small point of what the numbers were, or the numbers looked like. And outside the walls of Elwak, there were people there as well. A multitude of young people. I remember that sometime in 2018 or so, 84,000 young people had gathered to look for immigration service entry. Only 500 of them were picked. So it means that 83,500 were out there. So these are the numbers. Question on my mind, Collins. Are they really looking for a job in the military? Are they looking for survival and a guaranteed employment that will give them money and hope at the end of the month? What happens if they don't get into the military?
Well, that's a very good question. Of course, not all of them will be recruited.
And AJ, please keep the picture on the TV for me.
Not all of them will be recruited into the service. Pictures like this sends shivers, you know, especially to we, the young ones who are leaders, political leaders. The question is, what do we do? I mean, going forward to ensure that some of these our brothers and sisters get some. I'm sure you'll be surprised. Some of them are degree holders.
That's right.
Who've been at home for 3, 4, 5 years because there's no opportunities elsewhere. So I think pictures like this should rather push governments to know that yes, we are doing well, but we have to continue to expand the economy, build more industries to ensure that our brothers and sisters can be gainfully employed. Some will be recruited, but obviously not all of them, as you are aware, will enter the service.
Where do they go from there? From Elwak, sitting in the sun, on the sand? I mean, where do they go?
That's a difficult. You know, I was having a conversation. If you go
because around this table, when we were growing up, bread used to be on the dining table. When you pass by, you break some and eat.
Johnny,
now parents are hiding bread from their children.
Johnny, if you go into my car right now, you see a lot of brown envelopes, CVs, and sometimes when you pick the CV and you take your time to go through, some are first-class students.
Right.
And what strikes me sometimes is that their year of completion, 2012, 2013. Yes. What it means is that for the past 8 years after school,
They've been at home.
They've been at home. But the difficulty is that because they are unemployed, it is likely they might be involved in something that is not good.
Right.
Can you imagine an intelligent person who has a first class moving into criminality?
Right.
That's an intelligent criminal you have there.
That's right.
And so he'll be, he has a way of even outwitting you because he's an intelligent person.
As a
already.
first class in coding.
Yes.
And you
so
leave him.
It's a challenge. And I always say this. I mean, as a government, if you want, that's why anytime I see the president commissioning a factory, even if it's not a new factory and it has been improved to ensure that more people are brought on board, I'm happy. Because I always say the surest way to remain in power is to ensure that people are gainfully employed. That is the surest way.
And you think that your party is doing very well?
I will not sit
What
here
will
and
be your
say,
assessment?
I think we've done well. Of course, there's more room for improvement. But generally, I think under the circumstances, I think the party has done quite well.
Adam, these are young people who will fall. Some may be your party members under your youth wing.
Certainly,
they are sitting out there. This is just. I need to place. AJ, please show the picture again. This is just a small fraction of it.
I was going to say that.
A small fraction.
This is just the Bema camp.
There are people under the shed.
This is the Elwa.
This is the Elwa. So
others were
people under the shed. There are people all over.
Across the streets on the other
Millions
side
of young people.
Johnny, certainly I was really disturbed. I drove past them on that day. I saw them. I was really disturbed, and I asked myself lots of questions. I think that it should be a wake-up call. But two key things for me. The first one is that when you have young people interested in joining your security agencies simply because they want to find bread and butter, they want to find a source of livelihood, and not because they have a passion to serve the nation. It is a very dangerous thing, and we have to. It is a threat to national security.
That's a good point.
And when you speak to most of them, you can do an undercover investigation. They will tell you that the security services seems to be the only guaranteed source of income or source of employment.
And that's why I asked my question: are they looking for soldier jobs, or are they looking for salaries at the end of the month? If they don't get in, what happens to them?
That is key. And for me, it's a threat to national security. The second issue is how many of them got here. When you speak to them, and let's not pretend, many of them got here because they feel being in the security services is a reward for their involvement in the political process.
Right.
Many of them you see here is one party chairman, minister, one MP, who either has recommended or has assured them that when I become this, I'll put you there. That is equally very dangerous because they are not there because they think that they want to serve the nation, but they think they are being rewarded for their participation or roles that they played in the political process. The third thing, which is extremely dangerous, very, very dangerous, is the fact that many of them are also exploring ways and means of paying to have it. That is why they have become so vulnerable to scammers. See, there are people here who will tell you that they paid some big men or women to be put on some protocol list.
That's right.
So when you pay 5,000, 10,000 to enter into the military, and you are given a gun, you are given the uniform, the potential or the motivation to do anything to recover that money,
I think
it's extremely high.
Right.
Let us be careful as a country.
Let us be careful as a country. So this is a national security issue, and the security people are telling us, let's not push our young people to want to just get some of these jobs because they want to survive. Let's get people who want to be teachers because they want to be teachers, nurses because they want to be nurses, soldiers, police officers, prison officers because they want to be. There are too many examples of people who just get in there because they want to keep body and soul together. That is not good for us. It is not a good sign at all. So, Mr. President, you are aware, I'm sure that your office is getting this, and they will tell you, the grounds are not good. The young people are hungry. I'm saying, and I'll say it again, that bread is supposed to be a commodity that's supposed to be lying on the dining table. When you, after secondary school, you pass by, or after university, you pass by, you are going to the kitchen, you can break some. You are going out, you are watching TV, you can break some. Now parents are hiding bread from their children. Common bread. That is not a good sign. It is not a good sign, and we must stop speaking English and start acting in the interest of our country, in the interest of our young people. It is not funny anymore. This is our workforce, our energized youth. They are there, unemployed. That's a dangerous thing. Very, very dangerous. Anyway, Edem Agwana, thank you very much for your time this morning. He is a Deputy National Youth Organizer of the NDC. They recently sacked Koko Anyidoho, says he's happy about it. And also Collins Adumaku Mensah is a member of Parliament for the Fija Kwabre North constituency of the NPP. It's an NPP MP. He says they are happy to also welcome Koko Anyidoho if it comes. Koku, you say you are Joseph. Will you go or will you come? Will you stay with Potiphar's wife? We'll see you after the break.